Hello, campers. Welcome back to Camp Challenge with us. I am Alex once again, and to me, my left, maybe for your screen, is Pam, and below us is Alexa. And today we're going to learn about active listening. So, over these past couple weeks, we've learned and explored what conflict was, and how to escalate and de-escalate some situations within a conflict. So, active listening is one of the best things you can do to de-escalate a conflict. Active listening is when you show someone you're listening through verbal, through other visual ways, and then just acknowledging that you know you're hearing them. So before that, every person has the best environments to listen to and the worst environments to listen to. Some things that help them listen and some things that hurt them from listening. So Pam, could you explain some things that make it easier for you to listen?
Some things that make it easier for me to listen is quiet. I don't like a lot of distractions going on. I need to understand the topic. I need to understand what is being said to me. I need to understand the words that are being used. And I need feedback. I need to be able to ask questions and to get answers.
Yeah, yeah, all of those are some very common ways for people to be able to listen easier. Some people have some different things, and some people, maybe some of those aren't the best way. But for the most people, those are the great ways for them to be able to listen better. And then, Alexa, what are some things that make it challenging for you to listen?
Challenging things for me include if there's a lot of background noise, so I can't really hear the person. If someone's saying a bunch of times or like a bunch of time, it distracts me. Also, if they're talking to me and they're checking their phone or they're twiddling their hair a bunch or looking around, that makes it hard for me too.
Yeah, yeah, that's another great example of things that can make it challenging to listen. And anyone in those environments, it could make it harder for you to listen, which in turn can make it harder for you to learn or to understand a story, things like that. And that's what can happen when you can't listen as well. Or in a conflict scenario, if it's harder for you to listen to someone, that can make the conflict escalate on its own and make the problem worse. Whereas if you have some good hearing environments like Pam described, you might be able to hash out your conflict a little easier without it escalating. You'll be able to de-escalate that conflict easier. So on the screen now is some ways that you can show that you're active listening. What you'll want to do in order for someone to know, or what you'll see if someone is actually listening to you. The first one is to make eye contact. You'll want to make sure that you're focusing on them by looking at them, what they're saying, leaning forward in your seat, knowing that you're attentive, and nodding whenever they say something that they think that you should understand. You want to sit still as well. If you're playing on your phone, tapping your pencil, tapping a desk or something, those can be ways that are distracting not only for you, but for people around you as well. So that might make it harder for people or yourself to listen. You'll want to let the speaker finish their sentence. If you're interrupting them by talking to your other class members or saying something else, stopping their story, sometimes that's harder for them to listen and they might lose track of their train of thought as well. And then if you're asking a question, you want to give someone the time to respond. You want to make sure that they can think of an answer before you ask another one, give them time. And then what you'll want to hear if you're telling a story and know someone's listening, or what you can do or say if someone's telling a story, is using encouraging words. So if they're in the middle of a story or teaching or something, you just go, yeah, I understand that. That's a good story. Use words like that to help them know that you're listening. Agreeing with the person, as I just said, like, yeah, that's a good point. Things like that. That can make it really easy for them to know that you're listening to them. Restating what was said. So if someone says, on June 12th, I got a new car, you could just repeat that. Oh, so you got a new car on June 12th. You can paraphrase it even better to make it a better point that you're listening. Reflect on their feelings. So if someone says, oh man, I'm having a bad day, I just was stuck in traffic for 2 hours, things like that, you could just reflect, be like, oh, I understand how hard it is to be stuck in traffic, things like that. And then asking questions. If you're confused about the story they're telling or what they're teaching you, you can ask questions as a follow-up to make sure you're understanding it better and to make sure that they know that you're listening. So what we'll do now with all of these in mind is Pam and Alexa are going to go over their story from last week about Alexa telling Pam's secret. and they're going to use or try to use all of these active listening techniques, whether it's visual or oral, what they can hear, and try to solve this problem again with de-escalating it right away. So Pam and Alexa, after you.
Alexa,
Yes.
I need to talk to you about something very serious.
Okay.
Is this a good time? Because this is a big deal.
Yeah, I can talk.
Remember when I told you my secret?
Yeah, I do.
And remember you said you wouldn't tell anyone?
Mm-hmm.
I found out you told.
Yeah, I did.
Why would you do that to me? I thought we were friends.
Well, we are friends, but they asked me, and I didn't want to lie.
I understand you don't want to lie, but you promised. And I believed you. And my feelings are hurt. Now I'm embarrassed. People are talking, and Joey's not even talking to me now.
I'm sorry. You're right. Friends don't do that to friends.
My feelings are really hurt. I think I need some time before we can be friends again.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so in this scenario, we use as active listening techniques, and this is a good scenario. This is a good example of sometimes, even if there is a conflict, it might not be resolved where both sides have a happy ending. As we saw here, Pam was very hurt by the fact that Alexa was went behind her back and told a secret. But she's that active listening and could hear Alexa was apologetic. But Pam, some people just need some more time to get over things than others. And Alexa heard what Pam was saying, and active listening said, yes, I understand what you mean, and was able to give her that space, giving her that time that we talked about, and listen to her that way. So that was a great example of two people actively listening to de-escalate a problem before it got even worse than it could have. So hopefully you guys use these active listening tools and techniques and strategies that we talked about today in your everyday life, whether with your friends or parents or anyone that you might come in contact with. So in order to get credit for today, if you guys can just put your name down in the comment section and use some ways that you would know to show that you're actively listening to someone. You can use some of our examples or come up with your own. Be creative with it. Thank you guys. We hope you have a great rest of the summer, and we'll see you maybe next year. Goodbye.
See ya.